Hello everyone and welcome to English with Love. My name is Nancy and I am your English coach. Every week I prepare simple cultural mini lessons to help you train your ear and improve your English listening skills. Listening is so important. When you listen well, your speaking and understanding will also grow stronger. My activities are short, so you can easily fit them into your busy life. Remember, consistency is key, but also dedication. English won't come to you on its own. You have to put in the work. I know this from experience because I did the same when I was learning Italian. I am here to help you follow that path. And trust me, slowly but surely you will get there. So be patient and have faith in your English journey with me. In these lessons, you will not only learn English, but you will also discover many very interesting things about Italy, the country where I live. But before we begin today's lesson, may I ask you a quick favor? Please subscribe to my channel so you get a notification every time I upload a new episode. Your support helps me create more lessons for you. And if you enjoy this lesson, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment below. If you are watching on YouTube, activate the subtitles too, so you can read along while you listen. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Try to listen to the pronunciation and intonation of words and understand whatever you can. In time, you will understand more and more. Today, I want to take you on a journey with me to discover a very unique way of cultivating grapes for making wine here in Italy. It's something I only recently discovered myself, and so I prepared this episode to share it with you today. So are you ready to learn about extreme ways of making wine? Well then come with me on a journey to the mountain regions of Italy. Just 3 weeks ago, I went on a trip to the Aosta Valley in the northwest of Italy. Looking up at the mountains in the distance, I noticed something unusual. Rows and rows of green steps climbing up the slopes. From where I was standing, I couldn't understand what they were, so I asked someone, "What are those strange steps high up in the mountains?" And they told me they were vineyards. A vineyard is simply a place where grapevines are grown. Grapevines are the plants that produce grapes, which are later used to make wine. These vineyards were planted on terraces. A terrace is a flat platform built into the mountain, like a step or a small balcony. From below, the mountain looked like it was covered in rows of steps, one on top of the other. Some terraces were so steep that it was impossible to walk up normally. You would need ropes or ladders to climb up. Sometimes workers even wear safety belts, like mountain climbers, to move between the rows. Coming from Australia, where we don't have such high mountains and certainly no vineyards growing on cliffs, this was completely new and fascinating for me. And that's when I first learned about a very ancient and unique winemaking tradition here in Italy called viticultura eroica, which means heroic viticulture. Heroic viticulture, which is also known as extreme viticulture, refers to the cultivation of vines in extremely difficult and dangerous environments where modern machinery cannot be used, requiring manual labor and creating unique, heroic wines. So this type of cultivation is called heroic because the grapes are grown in extreme locations, like high up in the mountains, on windy islands with volcanic soil, and even on the slopes of active volcanoes. That's right, you heard me correctly, on active volcanoes. Who would have ever thought that you could cultivate grapes on active volcanoes? I didn't know that, and I only just found out that it was possible just recently. This type of cultivation is called heroic also because it describes the courage, skill, and physical strength of the farmers who work in these harsh and steep locations. Machines cannot be used on these places, so every task, from planting, pruning, and harvesting, must be done by hand. Planting means putting a new vine into the ground. Pruning means cutting branches so the plants grow well. And harvesting means collecting the grapes when they are ready. Sometimes farmers even use ropes, harnesses, or safety belts, just like mountain climbers, to prevent falls. So heroic vineyards are not cultivated the usual way you see on flat land or gentle hills. They are grown in extreme places. Extreme means very difficult or unusual compared to normal conditions. To be considered a true heroic vineyard, the place must meet at least one of a few special conditions. For example, some vineyards are planted on very steep slopes, with more than a 30% incline. Incline means slope or steepness. Others are found at very high altitudes, more than 500 meters above sea level. Altitude means the height above sea level. In some regions, the vines grow on terraces, which are steps carved directly into the mountain. In Italian, these steps are called gradoni. There are also vineyards on small islands where farmers face strong winds or must work with volcanic soil. Finally, many heroic vineyards are in places that are hard to reach and impossible to work with machines. This means that every single task must be done by hand. So when we say heroic, it is not just a beautiful name. It's because farmers truly work in extreme conditions where every single grape takes effort, courage, and care. This kind of winemaking is ancient. People began cultivating grapes on mountains and volcanoes thousands of years ago, long before modern technology. They had no tractors, no machines, only their hands, simple tools, and lots of courage. Cultivating means growing or farming something with care. Even today, the work remains almost the same. Let's imagine the seasons of a heroic vineyard. In spring, farmers plant and prune the vines. In summer, they maintain the terraces and protect the plants from pests. A pest is a small animal or insect that damages plants. In autumn, usually around September or October, it is time for the grape harvest. This season is called the vendemmia in Italian. All of this is done by hand. Grapes are carried in baskets down steep, narrow paths. Sometimes workers use small cable cars to transport the baskets, but often it is pure muscle work. Muscle work means the power of your body. Italy is the leader in heroic viticulture, and there are several main regions where this type of winemaking exists. Let's look at 5 of the most famous heroic hotspots. The Aosta Valley, Valle d'Aosta, in the northwest of Italy, surrounded by the Alps. This valley is home to Monte Bianco, Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in the Alps. Vineyards here can reach up to 1,200 meters altitude, some of the highest in all of Europe. Then there is Valtellina in Lombardy, in the north of Italy. The slopes here are very steep, and the terraces are famous for growing the Nebbiolo grape. Then we have the Cinque Terre in Liguria, in the northwest of Italy, where terraces rise dramatically from the cliffs right above the sea. There is also the island of Pantelleria in Sicily, in the south of Italy, where farmers grow Zibibbo grapes on windy volcanic soil. Then there are the volcanoes of Sicily and Campania. 2 of the most heroic examples are Mount Etna in Sicily and Mount Vesuvius in Campania. Mount Etna is an active volcano with vineyards grown on its black lava slopes. Mount Vesuvius is considered one of the world's most dangerous active volcanoes. Yet its nutrient-rich slopes produce the famous Lacrima Christi wine, which means the tears of Christ. Similar heroic vineyards exist in other parts of Europe like Switzerland and France, but outside Europe they are very rare because most countries have gentle hills or flat lands where machines do all the work. That is why Italy is truly the heart of heroic viticulture. It has the highest concentration and diversity of these extreme regions, spanning mountains, cliffs, and volcanoes. The tradition is so serious and so deep-rooted that Italy has been a pioneer in creating national legislation to formally recognize and safeguard these vineyards. Furthermore, Italy is home to the international organization Cervim, which exists to protect and promote heroic viticulture globally, confirming Italy's central role in this unique form of farming. Now let's take a look at the wine that comes from these places. The wines from heroic vineyards are incredibly special. The high altitude and rocky soil give the grapes unique flavors. The cooler temperatures in the mountains help the grapes keep freshness and acidity. Acidity means a sharp, fresh taste, like a lemon. Because the work is so hard and because production is so limited, these wines are often rare and expensive. Expensive means that they cost a lot of money. You can expect bottles of wine from heroic vineyards to cost anywhere from €20 to over €150 per bottle, depending on the region and how long it has been aged. The cost of these wines reflects the human labor, the rarity, and the uniqueness of the land where they are produced. We can finish today's lesson by noticing that heroic vineyards are not just about wine. They are about persistence, patience, and courage. They show us that even in extreme conditions, humans can still create something beautiful and unique. This is also true for learning English. Sometimes it feels like you're climbing a mountain, doesn't it? The path is steep and you cannot take shortcuts, but step by step, word by word, you will get there. Just like the heroic farmers, with dedication, patience, and consistency, we too can create something special and meaningful in our lives. So the next time you enjoy a glass of wine, maybe you will think about the heroic farmers on their terraces, working hard in the sun, the wind, and even on active volcanoes. And maybe you will also think about your own English learning journey, slow and steady, but full of reward. Thank you for joining me today on English with Love. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with someone who wants to improve their English listening skills. I will see you in the next episode, and until then, my friends, I send you all my love.